So, welcome to another of our photo analyses. Now, this was actually as a result of a poll that we held for patrons on our Patreon site, www.patreon.com/VickersMG. And we put up 5 photos for those to identify which one they wanted to see analysed next, which is something we'll be doing every month now, because we're going to slow these down to once a month releases and mix them up a bit with some different video ideas every week, running alongside of our training videos that we have running. So this is the most popular from last month, and it features the 0.5-inch Vickers. That is always a popular topic whenever we share information on it, including our video, some photos of that in the collection, and it's something we've got our eyes on at the moment of acquiring another one for the collection. It's actually a live firer, so we can do some video, some firing demonstrations. Looks like we'll have to remanufacture the ammunition from scratch, but it would be great to be able to do it. So please do become a supporter on Patreon and enable that to happen. Getting onto the photo then. So it's on the Imperial War Museum website as the British Army in North Africa 1942, reference E12408, and the description that it gives is an LRDG patrol fire a Vickers machine gun from the back of one of their Chevrolet 30 hundredweight trucks on the 25th of May 1942. Taken by Lieutenant Graham, who's member of the Army Film and Photographic Unit, and in their Western Desert series. So we'll get stuck into the detail of it and see what we can uncover. So to start with, LRDG, what is it? Well, it was the Long Range Desert Group, a unit formed in the Second World War to conduct long-range penetration and long-range patrols into enemy territory in the desert, in North Africa, the Western Desert. Now, it was a wartime formed unit and it was wartime disbanded as well. It was one of the earliest forms of special forces units that was established, and the desert seemed to be the developer for most of these, and they've got close links and associations with the Special Air Service. So they're an interesting unit in themselves. They were based around a squadron and then patrols within that squadron. And the truck that's featured here, and we'll do the technical detail of it in a bit, is believed to be a member of the R patrol, R for Romeo, which is interesting and links to something in the photo, in that it was manned largely by New Zealanders, maybe solely. And this chap here on our left seems to be wearing one of the New Zealand lemon squeezer type hats. So quite nice to be able to sort of link that straight away. If we look at the bigger stuff in the photo first, then obviously we have the truck itself. I've done a little bit of research in this because it's not my area of expertise, but it seems to justify it, and I wanted to learn from it as well. But it's a Chevrolet 1533x2 patrol truck, 30 hundredweight, and a 4x2 drive. So it's not 4x4, it's 4x2, only two of the wheels driving. And from the 05m6.de website, it seems to indicate that they received these in March 1942, which ties in quite nicely with the May 1942 photograph. So it's worth as well a mention of the Long Range Desert Group Preservation Society Facebook group, which is where this truck is identified as R Patrol, and you can see this box here is R/6. So that's the truck number and the patrol letter, so R6. And now if we do just look at the truck briefly, like I say, it's not my area of expertise, so I won't dwell on it too much, but it's great to see these PSP, pierce steel planking elements here, spare tyre in the back there, cam net strewn over, all of these sort of regular features of Long Range Desert Group trucks at the time. If you're wondering what these little semicircles there are, they're actually foot loops. So when the tailgate is flapped down, they go the other way, and they are your step to get into the back of the truck. Something simple that people may not recognise if they've not been hanging around the back of military trucks. On it we have the census number for the truck, which seems to be L461335. So that's the truck census number there, I believe. And what else can I tell you about it? There are some other photos in this series. I won't bring them up. I'll leave you to go and look for them. But if you go into that Imperial War Museum website, click on the photographer, you'll be able to find them quite easily. And they show this truck R6 using its pierced steel planking to its sand tracks there to get out of some soft sand where it's got stuck, which is what they're intended for. And that actually doesn't show the Vickers mounted in the back. Interestingly enough, which seems to indicate that it can be dismounted and put in the back for driving around, and then mounted and lifted on. Now, interestingly, this gun weighs about 70 pounds if you've watched our 0.5 inch Mark V video, so it's not something that can be easily lifted on. Before I get onto the gun note, let's just talk a little bit more about the organisation of a patrol. On our website, the vickersmg.blog website, we do have a page on the Long Range Desert Group, and it'll be in the description to this video. And in it, we've got some variants of the war establishments. Now, the first war establishment to mention the 0.5 inch Vickers is actually from 8th of April 1942. Now, obviously, war establishments for special forces or elite units aren't wholly indicative of everything being fact. Some are developed after the event, so, after they've been using kit for a while. Some are developed before. But the fact that that is 8th of April 1942, and then this is the 25th of May 1942, actually says these 0.5 inch Vickers guns, the Mark V's here, could be a relatively new thing for them to be doing or them to be mounting. They had lots of different, they were using Vickers 303 mounted on the back of the trucks, but maybe this is one of the first occasions that the 0.5 inch is in use. And I want to pick out a couple of other things as well. So here we have wrapped up a Lewis light machine gun put onto the mounted on these poles. Now, considering where it is, I believe, and having looked at some of the other photos, that Lewis has a mount that could be used on any of the corner poles, possibly even these side poles here, because these I think are the hoop poles that if the truck had its canvas on, these would be the hoops for those. So they're hollow. I think that's something that can be mounted on any of those positions, because you certainly see them mounted in different places. I think also, just as an indication, these are actually a pair of goggles looped over those for possibly the driver or their passenger. We also have the small magazine Lee Enfield rifle down there. Looks like #1 Mark III and probably a Mark III Star or Star at this stage of the war. So we've got that there, and what seems to be hanging down, I think, is actually its bayonet. So I'll just take that away off of a set of web equipment, and those seem to be cartridge carriers. So we've talked about those in our Raw Ray video. They are a set of pouches like this alongside each other, and each pouch carries 10 rounds. You've then got a brace attachment, so you've got 20 rounds on each side. That's what it seems to be. It doesn't look like a basic pouch on the 1937 pattern webbing. So it's interesting to see this webbing actually being hung over the edge of an LRDG truck, because we don't normally see LRDG troopers, soldiers in there in web equipment at all. So to see that alongside the rifle is quite interesting in itself. The chap that sat on the spare tyre there using the gun, him sat on the spare tyre, and these chaps here all are all wearing battle dress, which is pretty standard to see in the desert. It's wool, warm when wet, cool when dry kind of stuff. Useful at night. They're all wearing woolen hats as well. So just a reminder that the desert, or the two of them, the desert isn't a warm place. There is a possibility actually that he's wearing a. Oh, somebody may doubt me. It looks like he might be wearing a forage cap sideways. So the side cap, field service cap. Looks like he might be wearing that sideways out of the way while he's aiming the gun. Not often seen, so I believe with LRDG troops, but a possibility there. Now, focused on Vickers kit for a minute. This guy here is carrying a Vickers cleaning rod. You can just see the brass handle of it there. So it doesn't look like the brass cleaning rod for the 0.5 inch, which is actually the same cleaning rod as the boys anti-tank rifle. It just looks like a standard 303 cleaning rod, which will reach. It looks like in the top of it he might have a bit of flannelette there. You can just see that. Interesting. So yeah, they've been cleaning their weapons. Now, quick point, because I'd be wrong to identify it, mug and tin plate on the floor there. So yeah, they clearly rested up for a little bit. Cleaning weapons makes sense. And then possibly test firing this weapon, because he is firing it. You can just see, if you look closely here, the cocking handle or the crank handle is in the #1 stoppage position. He's firing it. I'm not saying it's got a stoppage. I'm just saying it's in the middle of firing it, as that crank handle is back on the roller. You can see him using the pistol grip here, and he has a shoulder brass and then covered brass shoulder grip in here, a shoulder pad, so that he can use it. Now these are designed for the use in light tanks, the Mark 6 light tank mainly. So it's only a weapon that you can fire from a pistol grip and shoulder with a mounting. It's not something you can lift and fire, and it's not made necessarily for sustained fire. But we've got it fitted with its ammunition box here, the white #2 Mark 1 ammunition box for the 0.5 inch, and you can just see wavy here the ammunition belt going into the gun, and possibly through the gun, as like I say, it may well be firing. Now, one of the questions that's raised on that LRDG Facebook group was, what sights are used. There aren't any sights on top of the Mark 5. You can see that in our video, but one of the common ammunition types for it was semi-armor piercing tracer, so that you would walk it onto the target using tracer. Because when you're in a tank, or using this as an anti-aircraft gun as well, so the Mark III is an anti-aircraft variant for the Navy, you would be using it with tracer ammunition quite a lot. Now, each one of these ammunition boxes hold 100 rounds. The War Establishment says that the ready ammunition with the guns was 1,000 rounds per gun. So you'd have 10 of these boxes in the back of the truck somewhere. So that's quite a weight in itself. Bear in mind, a normal Vickers ammunition box full of 250 rounds of 303 is 10 kilos. I don't know off the top of my head what 100 rounds of 0.5 inch weighs. It would probably be around the same kind of weight, if not a little bit more. So you've got 1 ton of ammunition, 100 kilos of 1,000 rounds of ammunition in there. So a tenth of a ton of just ammunition for the 0.5 inch. They then had reserve ammunition, which would have been spread about these trucks and other trucks in boxes. So yeah, there's quite a lot of ammunition to go around for that before, as part of the load of the other truck. So or part of the load of the truck itself. So it's a really detailed photo. It's the only one really good detail of the 0.5 inch in use. Now, it would have had to have a bespoke mounting made. The mount is a dovetail mount. So what I mean by that is this. That's what slides in. So you have to build a mounting around that to be able to take the gun in here. Now, it's a standard type mount that would fit the 0.5 inch and also the Mark 7 Vickers, but it's not something that would... You need an adapter to make it fit on the Vickers tripod, and they'd need to have made an adapter to fit it onto this pedestal mount here in the back of the truck. So as part of the conversion, as part of the armourer work, then yes, you need to build this mounting. And this belt box carrier that sits out here as well, would also have to be bespoke. Now, I think it comes round the back. It's likely to, but what we've got hanging down there to cover that bit up is its lid. So it's a two-part lid on this ammunition box, so that you can open. So what we've got, the ammunition box shape is this. Forgive the crude drawing. And you've got a little handle on the end here. This is hinged here, so this bit flaps up if you need to. Excuse me. And then it's hinged here as well, so it will open all the way backwards, and that's what's happened in this case. So you can just see it there. Like I say, we've got some detailed imagery of those on our website and on our 0.5 inch Mark 5 video. So it's not something I really want to. I don't think there's anything else to point out in this video, other than to say that, you know, the 0.5 inch is a really interesting Vickers. It's one that people don't realise. We always just associate 0.5 inch with Brownings, which are still in service today, 100 years of service next year. And the 0.5 inch Vickers was something only the British and Commonwealth or Empire troops used, and it's, the ammunition is completely different to a Browning. So, understand our challenge when we say we want to get one of these working and firing. It's not something that's easy to do. We'd really like your support to be able to do that. So do go and support us on Patreon. Join up there. Take part in the poll for the next of these photo analyses, and I hope this has been interesting and informative for you. And actually, me looking up the research has been quite useful anyway, so I've enjoyed that as well. So like I say, thanks to the LRDG preservation group on Preservation Society on Facebook, and so the other website that I used was the 05m6.de website on the LRDG, and also longfieldbarn.com, which identified that some of these there was additional photos in this series, alongside obviously the IWM photo as well. So a little bit longer than usual. Thank you very much for sticking with it, and thank you very much for watching.
Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Please support us on Patreon if you're able to, and let us know of anything you'd like to see in the future. I look forward to hearing from you.